Well, happy anniversary, everyone. It is the first...
We've been doing this for one motherfucking year.
We have. That's... Besides music, I think that's the most committed I've been to any other creative project. So, that's
creative
nice.
project, yes. I've had my job for more than a decade, which is weird. But yeah.
Wow.
That's like the longest relationship I've ever had.
That's a good point, yeah.
By the way, Sean's wife's OnlyFans is on sale.
Act now and get to see the first anal video.
Well, Steve,
Oh boy.
it is our...
It's okay. She doesn't listen to this shit.
Well, Steve, it's been a year. We have two of our most frequent guests here, and you had a birthday recently.
Yes.
So I think it's time to get you a present to mark this momentous occasion.
Take the present. Take it.
All right, so let's see what we got here. It feels like a book.
Oh man. It says
It's Werewolf the Apocalypse.
second edition.
Oh, nice.
It's the game that the Slipknot guys were into when they were writing about wolf pornography.
Oh, this is great. That's going to be fun to go through.
I guess
Sean Crawhan, you should come on the show and talk to us about Werewolf the Apocalypse sometime. You're officially invited.
You're officially invited. We will run an actual play episode with you where we will run the game and play as werewolves who fuck each other.
What do I know about wolf pornography?
All right, Andrew, describe the cover.
Well, it appears
There's a big giant wolf penis on it now.
I just see 4 claw marks and some kind of nebula, essentially. And then you open it up, and there's some sort of human, presumably wearing a wolf's head. Cool.
I think Dave has described the wolf penis on air 3 times or 4 times.
Probably 4 at this point, but one more time. So, when wolves make sweet wolf and love to each other to ensure that the male finishes inside the female so that we can have puppies, the penis engorges itself into a knot shape. And so, therefore, there's this thing called the Omegaverse where a bunch of fanfiction perverts will write stories about humans that have wolf penises and fuck each other, and will switch between like alphas and betas and omegas and whatever the fuck else pseudoscience bullshit that is. But anyway, my theory is Slipknot is a part of it, and until they come in person to argue otherwise, I'm going to believe that.
I don't really want them to come in person. I don't really want to see that.
Maybe they have knotted penises.
I don't want to talk about wolf
again.
penises with Slipknot. I'm just going to say this.
Oh, Anders Kolsefti is also invited and more likely to show up because he lives in Des Moines still.
Yeah. But yeah, happy anniversary, you bastard.
Yeah, happy anniversary. It's been a lot of fun. This project kind of started out of a weird idea that I used to have, which got a little channel awesome-y over time. So we just dropped all that and then decided to just talk about albums. But I think what really sparked us doing this is I remember I got my record player set up, and I remember like you and me would sit down and just listen to records, and then I'm like, oh, we should do a podcast, because I remember we listened to Black Sabbath's Born Again album.
Yeah. Another thing that sparked this is like a couple of years ago, I said one of my hot takes, which is Into the Century, the Phil Spector produced Ramones album, is underrated and a good album, actually, if not great. And I played it for you to point out just like how huge the Wall of Sound production is on the drums.
I love the Wall of Sound production, personally.
Yeah, and it's a great album.
Yeah.
Danny Says is one of the best songs the Ramones ever did, and that's one of the ballads on that. But like the faster songs, like I'm Affected, just with the huge drums, it sounds like a bunch of guys in kilts all playing drums out of Scottish Lock at the same time. Just boom, boom.
Well, while we got our Alliterates band members here, guys, you want to talk about some of your favorite side 1, side B memories?
I think the time I went off on you was probably my favorite.
In the Iced Earth episode.
Was that the episode? I don't know. I was just like,
I mean, I
Ace
think you
Frehley
also
one.
did in the Ace Frehley episode, but I think you did more in the Iced Earth episode.
well, the Iced Earth episode. I think you deserved that one.
Yeah, I've been
You were yelling at me because of my teenage musical opinions.
So I've been talking with Colby about coming back to record another Bowie episode, and he said that one of the episodes that he's listened to on his own is the Def Leppard one, and he thought it was hilarious, and he agrees with me that it's one of the worst records ever made.
So far, we've told 2 people about the Def Leppard episode that went, "Oh, I like Def Leppard," and it was Adam, and I think he said that at the beginning of the Iced Earth episode, and then Dan also said he liked Def Leppard, which maybe you had to be there, but Sean was there, so
Yeah. Doug said it on line too.
that's right. Doug did defend it.
Yeah,
we
he's
gotta
like-
have Doug on the podcast sometime.
Yeah.
We do.
Doug was like, Def Leppard's awesome, man. I was like, I can deal with some 80s, but I think Def Leppard was kind of my, like, the one that I don't know. There's something about Def Leppard that I can't really stand.
I would rather deal with any new wave cheese than any hair metal cheese. Like give me Flock of Seagulls, but
Yeah.
no Def Leppard.
Run!
Yeah.
Andrew, what's your
What's your favorite memory?
Oh shoot! So, I did the Slipknot episode, which was interesting, and then after that we recorded the Sparks episode, which was really good. But I felt we had less feedback about it as a unique album.
Sparks and Samson exchange each other for the least popular episode every few weeks. So
I feel like we need to do another Sparks episode to make it up for them. But
Yeah.
I do have more Sparks records, so we'll get to that
Best
later.
of Sparks might be.
right now, the Slipknot episode is our second most popular episode. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm there for that.
Dinosaur Jr. still our most popular?
yes, it is.
Nice.
Yes. And then Paul Di'Anno, then Def Leppard, then Talking Heads, and then Iron Maiden.
People listen to the early ones a lot still.
Yeah.
I
And
noticed that none of my episodes were on that list.
Def Leppard?
Oh. Well, no, I had to deal with Pete on that. I feel like I get a pass.
Yeah. Oh. Nobody wants to listen to a podcast about Ace Frehley's solo album.
That one is, I think that one is one that has more downloads. That one might be in our top 10.
If you count YouTube, because I think it blew up on YouTube, and I apologize to the audience. I haven't kept up with YouTube since season 1, and I should probably change that, but it's hard.
They started throttling us.
Yeah. So. But we did get a YouTube comment today, and I figure this is the best opportunity to say it on air. And so a while ago, we did an episode on The Clash. And at
The
some
first
point,
album.
Dave made a comment about how Mick Jones was the better singer than Joe Strummer. And I think you meant in like a technical way.
I meant in a technical sense.
Not necessarily an opinion sense. And some guy who I think is like the equivalent of the comic book nerd from The Simpsons chimed in, Mick was not the better singer. The Clash is clearly wasted on you. So,
Yeah,
the
you
Clash was
fuck.
wasted on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say that the guy whose vocal delivery people can understand on first listen is the technically better singer. I think Joe Strummer was the better lead vocalist and better frontman for the band, but Mick was the better singer technically. Like, there's no arguing that.
And technically correct.
Yeah.
The best kind. So,
Yeah.
Well, okay, and also let's think about it this way: who had more hits, Mick Jones or Joe Strummer?
Train in Vain and Should I Stay or Should I Go?
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so guy who's like the fucking Clash Vanguard, go fuck yourself. Oh, he's probably not gonna hear this because it's on YouTube. Well, he can still get fucked.
Yeah, I don't care. It's funny.
Well, I don't care either. I just like saying get fucked.
Yeah. Get fucked, random loser on the internet.
Yeah. The class is lost on you, Dave. You should just go home and masturbate to the fucking Justin Bieber, you fuck.
Yeah.
Dave, because of one random YouTube comment, gotta sell your Clash records.
Yep. You gotta sell them to me.
Okay, as long as they stay in the band / podcast family.
So, I did buy an LP from a friend of Combat Rock, and later that guy became a police officer. And it's funny, because that song starts with, "Know Your Rights."
Murder is a crime unless it is done by a policeman.
You guys have also brought in a couple albums yourselves. Sean, you brought in REM
And Pixies.
and Pixies.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew, you brought in The Grateful Dead
And Sparks.
and Sparks.
And we've got another one coming up here on the queue.
Oh yeah, the let's not spoil that one for the
No.
audience.
Yeah,
But it's silly.
yeah,
That'll be good.
We're a silly bunch.
yes. But yeah, it's been a year. Thanks for listening, and this is a cold opening, so I won't say the sign out catchphrase.
I like Mick Jones better than Joe Strummer. Fuck you.
I like Joe Strummer better, but Mick Jones was the technically better singer. Only in the sense that he could enunciate his words and stay on key better.
The Clash is lost on you guys.
Yeah.
And you don't know anything about New Order.
Listening to The Clash is a crime.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
Wow. This is the guy who did that.
Oh, that's the guy who did
Yeah.
that?
Here we'll get. Probably shouldn't have spoiled that before. Well, let's just get it started. Hello and welcome to Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Dave,
And I'm Steve.
and today we have.
I'm Dan.
And fellas, what do you know about Lemon Demon?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope.
It looks like it should rhyme based on the cover. Lemon Demon.
Lemon Demon.
Lemon Demon.
Yeah. Do you know Potter Puppet Pals?
Yes. Oh my God, are you serious?
Do you know
Snape.
Snape, Severus Snape? Do you know the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny? Old Flash animation?
Don't know that.
No, okay. That one is very of its time in terms of what the internet humor is. So it's kind of like, oh God, another Chuck Norris joke if you listen to it now. But it was still a lot of fun back in the day. Do you know the song of the Count, where it's the Count from the Sesame Street and they're beeping out the word count, so it sounds like he's saying he likes to fuck. Anyway, this is the guy who did that.
I love to poop.
He also has done like a lot of like comedic remixes of songs, like taking the Fringe theme and taking the Down with the Sickness laugh and putting it over the hand clap. Or he has one called Crocodile Chop, where it's Crocodile Rock and Chop Suey combined.
Oh my God, I gotta hear that.
Another great. He's done a lot with All Star by Smash Mouth for all of these. It's a lot of internet humor.
Is he the one that did All Star, but it's only the breaths?
I don't think that one was him, but yeah. But this one we're going to do is his latest album, and it's like, I think 10 years old now at this point. Main sources for this are, there were some like real reviews of it, one by Shannon Strucci, the co-writer for H-Bomber Guy, and then also from the Needle Drop, Anthony Fantano has reviewed this album. This is his attempt to be a little more serious. It's not like there's no humor in it, but there aren't any songs in here like Two Trucks Having Sex, for example.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, he has a song called Two Trucks Having Sex on a previous album.
You know what I just realized, Dave? This is the first album you brought that's not from the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, this is a new album by a relatively new artist who owes his career to the internet.
The internet, what's that?
What's that? Yeah, this is...
Oh, it's a series of tubes.
Yeah. This is his album Spirit Phone, which he tried to be a little more serious than his previous stuff. I'm not saying it's like a completely serious album, but it's largely about cryptids and other monsters.
Oh, sweet.
But
Nice. All right.
it was
Chupacabra, Chupacabra.
Lemon Demon is a band and he tours with it, but in the studio he plays all the instruments except for one guitar solo on Sweet Pod, which we'll get to it when we get to it, but that's on the second side. But yeah, this is just a really interesting album, and it reminds me a lot of 80s kind of aggressive synth pop, like the kind like Devo or Oingo Boingo, that type of stuff, kind of new wavy.
Interesting.
Steve, why don't you take a look at the album art? And it is a double album, so there's a gatefold to check out.
New wavy, Davy.
All right, so on the front we have a man in a suit with a cat, and
That is him. That is Neil Ciceriga,
okay,
aka Lemon Demon.
and they have sparkles in their eyes, kind of, or like a star in their eye.
I think that's probably his real cat.
Looks like might be a Siamese or a
Yeah.
Balinese. On the inside, we have an alien-looking skull and a quote that says, "Due to my strong personal convictions, I wish to stress that this record in no way endorses a belief in the occult."
Which is a reference to Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Ah, okay.
Oh, nice.
No, on the back, it's the same person on the front, except it's in red. So yeah.
My strong personal convictions.
And then there's an insert.
Yeah, on the inside, we got an insert here with tons of lovely-looking art. We'll let Dan describe that.
That looks almost puss-headish. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, so we got a guy looks like he's from that Guillermo del Toro movie.
Oh, Shape of Water?
Well, that too. Pan's Labyrinth, Shape of Water.
Oh, yeah.
It really looks like, what's his name? Who is that guy that plays Saru?
Doug Jones?
Thank you. It looks like Doug Jones with light beams coming out of his eyes. And a bunch of fingers. And then there is a nice skull with either wax or blood dripping down onto it. Looks like it's been there for a while.
Looks like it's a mummy.
That's a what?
It looks like it has a mummified
Yeah,
body.
It's got mummified stuff. And, let me get it closer, it's got bees on it.
Oh, yeah. I know what song that's a reference to. Bees! That's a reference to Sweet Bod.
No, not the bees.
And this kind of looks like David Tennant with a telephone cord wrapped around his neck.
That's Neil. Yeah, he looks kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then there is a possible, like, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a
Eldritch
upside-down wolf.
Abomination wolf covered with eyes.
Yeah, there's eyes all over. And there's trees, and there's a haunted house with the moon.
This is a very horror-themed album. And
This is really speaking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
But yeah, this is his attempt at doing something that is a little less humorous than his previous stuff, but it's still... How much you like it might depend on how much you are okay with things being quirky, but we are the right crowd for quirk.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. He's largely a self-taught musician and like a self-taught producer, and that he figured out how to do this just to put it on the internet. And yeah, plays all the instruments. Most of the instruments are synthesizer, but he does do some guitar. I think the drums are programmed, but he does some guitar and some bass on here too.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I can buy that for $1.
But yeah, the art design is really cool. It's like well, his wife is a like a comic book artist, so let me see who did it. Artwork by Ming Doyle. Okay, yeah.
Doyle. Okay.
And so he probably knows artists and the like from his long creative career.
This kind of reminds me a bit of like the crazy artwork that like Mastodon does on their covers.
Oh yeah.
All of these would be great for like a metal album.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this is one of my Halloween listens too, though. Like, this is one of the albums I put on in October. This is the LP version. It was originally released like on streaming, and then got a CD release. And then when it did well enough, he's like, "Let's do a limited run of vinyl." But like, it's the CD length is like the 3 sides. And then the last side, side D, is on the CD version. He has like a whole CD's worth of bonus tracks. This is just the best 5 of the bonus tracks. So we'll get the whole experience from the first 3 albums, and then depending on time, we'll do the last side, or we will save that for a bonus episode since those aren't part of the album proper. But we will see as we go.
Before we get into it, we have 2 very special announcements. One, it's a national holiday. It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Is it your real
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
or is it the time of release?
No, it's literally my birthday right now.
Oh, nice! Happy birthday!
So by the time you all hear it, it won't be. But that leads me into the second special announcement. This is our 1-year anniversary episode.
Nice.
We have been we have been doing this for a full year.
Nice.
Probably besides music, probably the thing I've committed to the most creatively. So
Yeah.
How many episodes?
Oh, what are we up to? Let's see.
How many do we have out now, and how many need to be released still? Is the question.
Yeah, that's yeah. There's that. But
How old are you now, Steve?
38.
Oh my God. Oh, shit. You're on the express elevator to hell, going down.
I think I'm the age you were when I met you, and you're like, I'm 38, and I'm like, you're 38.
Holy shit!
Which was I thought you were younger than that.
I think 2011. I think was the house party.
Yeah.
Well, your hair is still mostly the same color, and your beard isn't too white, and you have a hairline still. So
Yeah. Thank you. I was 35 actually.
Oh, okay. Maybe I heard it a few years later because I remember that 38 in my head for some reason. Okay, so we have. I stopped numbering them, so I made this very inconvenient for myself.
Anybody sing happy birthday to you today?
No.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday to you.
we're gonna need to start numbering them again, at
Birthday
least
to you,
internally, in case we get to
Steve.
666 episodes. You know.
Yeah, we should probably start keeping track of it.
And many more.
We're nowhere near that yet, but
Let's see. We have 11 episodes of season 2. I think it was 24 episodes of season 1.
think so.
And then we have, I think, like 5 little side episodes.
Yeah, and then there's whatever's coming out in between.
Yeah. When you think back, what's your favorite side 1, side B memory?
Favorite individual memory. I liked it when our first episode with a guest,
Wait, with Sean?
with Sean, when we made him listen to Ace Frehley. And she was like, oh, which one is it? Okay.
And then he hated it anyway.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, mine I think also involves Sean when we were doing the Iced Earth episode, and I was like, all right, time to break it down track by track, and he's like, there's my notes, Steve!
There's my notes.
You listened to this multiple times!
Or, was it Def Leppard that someone said, we don't have to listen to this, we could just say we did? Or was that Ice Earth?
That was both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember the Def Leppard being a point of contention.
Yeah.
Which, I enjoyed Def Leppard, so.
But yeah, thinking back to it, we started with my favorite band, Black Sabbath, and at that time our episode was 27 minutes, and now we have multiple episodes that go past not only an hour but up to 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Depending on the guest and the length of the album.
Yeah. And then we have, like, my first episode was the live album by my favorite band, with the name of the band is Talking Heads. And I think that kind of set the tone, is like starting with those 2. Those episodes, I haven't re-listened to them in a while. I'm sure they'd be embarrassing, and I'd think of all the things I did want to do differently, but
I listened back to them. I think, besides us still finding our way when it comes to, like, the formats and what we talk about, we hadn't quite had it yet. But as far as, like, I remastered the first episode, and I think it still holds up. So that's nice.
yeah, I've gotten better at saying what my research is, I think, but yeah.
Probably some like Clayton talked about us doing a Tony Martin episode, and it's like I wouldn't be opposed to redoing that one. Like maybe we should just do that entire box set at some point.
I think maybe at some point, if we ever do like a live podcast, we can redo, like, revisit some of the first, like, 4 or 5 albums we did.
Well, what I want to do is become relevant enough to do a charity stream where we make Sean listen to the rest of the Kiss albums.
I want to, yeah.
The more you donate, the more he has to listen.
I want to be relevant enough that we get a guest episode on Guys, a podcast about guys with Murder Brian.
I'd love to do a Behind the Bastards episode on Phil Spector. I think I think we'd be great guests for that if we ever get important enough.
Or a Dollop episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Dan, you've been on multiple episodes. Do you have any thoughts back to those? You were on the Surge episode, the Para Ubu, and most recently Rush Snakes and Arrows.
Oh,
I think you've been on more
forgot
than that, but those are the ones I remember
No,
right
I think
now.
it was just those 3. Yeah. Let's see. Nope. I blacked it all out. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, my favorite would be Rush because I have a lot to say about Rush because that's my favorite band. So I think that was a lot of fun.
What was the biggest surprise you've discovered from being on an episode?
I don't know if anything really surprised me. Maybe pleasantly surprised.
I do remember you
It's
being
laid back. I liked the laid backness.
I do remember you liking the Surge album and
was
saying you
good.
want to check it out again.
Yeah, it was good. I've always liked Surge. It's got that operatic goofiness. I just love that.
I think we were both a little surprised at Para Ubu, and for me, I remember at first I was like, "What the fuck?" and then it grew on me by the end of the album.
Yeah. Well, that's the. I guess that would be the most pleasant thing about this, and not a surprise, but just what has been most enriching to my life is hearing all these bands and songs that I've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
That's, as a musician and just as a human being, that can't be a bad thing.
What I really like about it is it kind of forces everybody to hang out, and they have an excuse to get away from the house. It's like, oh, I have to. We're recording.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also like it that I can force people to listen to the music that I put YouTube links up on my social media that then no one plays.
Well, for me, it's like
You are a terror, Dave.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Well, for me, usually when I get those links, I'm doing something, and then I forget about it later because I have ADHD. So it's really nice that we've been able to turn it into like a social thing.
Well, and then it's like people will send me something when I'm at work, and it's just like on break, I will check my notifications because I want to clear them, and then like I leave break and work the remaining 6 hours of my shift and then go home, and I don't remember someone sent me something.
Yeah.
So don't send me links to things during the day that have audio, basically, is the moral of the story.
I get the same thing. Somebody sends me something, and I'm like, I can't listen to this now.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to this in 8 hours. And then 2 weeks later, oh, shit.
And then they'll ask you if you listen to it, and I was like, no.
No.
You sent it to me at 10 a.m.
I'm too busy watching Dragon Ball Z at the age of 38.
Right,
So.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then on a personal side note, this podcast I think has been very helpful for me when it comes to production. Being able to listen to not only my own stuff that's influenced me so much over the years, like closer than I ever have before, but Dave, you have introduced me to a number of things that influenced my songwriting, my production style, and even my play style on a number of songs. I think there's 2 songs on my album that I abandoned the generic metal riffy parts because I came up with a lead part that reminded me more of like David Bowie or something like that. So
Nice.
so yeah, I think this podcast has not only been fun, but it's helped with my production work, and I think it actually helped with my job interview when I interviewed for my current job. So.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
more comfortable talking about things.
Yeah, exactly.
Riffing, yeah.
So-
I think too, like one thing that I've really liked about this is it makes me seem less unique to my friends, but especially like people who I've worked with in bands. It's like, oh, this is what you're coming from, with like Para Ubu and Cabaret Voltaire. It's like it's letting people know like my background and what the kind of music that has inspired me to create the kind of music that I like to make too, which has been nice.
That's been a lot of fun, and we're definitely going to have a couple more seasons of this for sure. We got some other things planned after this season. We're going to do controversial artists, and then oops, all bad albums. and then from there we don't know. So
Yeah.
You guys think you'll be doing this in 15 years?
If the internet still exists, sure.
If anything still exists.
Yeah.
We'll bring my daughter on and have her talk about her Rush album.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're not like fighting in the water wars in 15 years.
Yeah, true.
Well, the angry video game nerd's still going, and so is the nostalgia critic, and
So's Neil Cicierega,
yeah, so
Lemon Demon.
So
gonna-
Syriac, by the way. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
have ever seen a Syriac video.
I have not.
Yeah, you gotta look it up. It's crazy.
But yeah, this Neil Cicierega has been. One thing I liked about him was like every time like I've dipped in on him, it's like, oh, I enjoy this, and then I move on, and then like I come back and see years later just like how much he's grown and changed, and he's like, well, the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny, it's like, oh, whatever, it's a song about guys the internet likes fighting, but like he's grown and evolved and has done like hilarious remixes to take down songs from when I was a teenager as a joke, but then also like really like interesting Halloween synth pop album, and it's cool to see an artist not do anything really shitty that gets him canceled, and then also kind of like grow and evolve. And here's to us growing and evolving as we continue going for more and more years.
Woo! All right, and here's side one of Lemon Demon.
Spirit Phone.
Well, Clayton, we've been doing this podcast for 1 year, and you are a guest on several episodes. One of our least popular ones, which switches back and forth with the band Sparks, is our least popular one.
Least popular episode, not
Yeah.
least popular guest.
Yeah,
Thank God. Just
and that was the Samson episode.
please tell me I'm the most popular guest in the comments.
Yeah.
Well, you, the Iron Maiden episode that we did recently is, I think, like 5th or 6th or something like that. So it's up there, yeah.
Good.
And then you were also on the Big Black episode. One episode of Jerry Cantrell where your audio is garbage because I forgot to turn your Phantom power on. Do you have any side 1, side B memories you'd like to share to the audience?
No.
You tired
Just
of
kidding.
tired
No,
of-
it's been a really good time. It's cool that you guys have done this for a whole year, lots of people can start and stop things, but it's good to be doing it consistently. And it's just gotten better. I listen to every episode.
Oh, thank you.
I 100% promise.
Thank you.
Me too.
Yeah, don't investigate that if you can, but I do.
So, since we've had you on for a Bruce album and a Paul Di'Anno album, obviously we'll have to have you back for a Blaze Bayley album. So look forward to that.
Boy, can't wait. I'm glad you guys bring me on for such good music. Good and compelling music.
Hey, at least you weren't on for the Def Leppard one. That one was really bad.
Yeah.
I really thought, like, for the first, like, my wife, like, when I told her, like, I was doing, like, REM one time, I was bringing REM, she's like, oh, I thought you guys only did bad albums. I'm like, no, they just did bad albums with me. Motherfuckers.
Yeah, I thought it was bad albums every time, and then I saw you guys were doing good albums with other people, so that is a little strange. Well, I guess we did Iron Maiden with Bruce. That was a good one.
Well, I legitimately thought
the-
you'd
yeah.
really like Samson, but
Yeah. We
I
did
was
Big
wrong.
Black.
Just like I was wrong about him liking Ace Frehley.
Yeah, you legitimately were wrong.
I was.
Missed the mark.
There had to be some moments on that album though you liked though, right?
It wasn't bad. It was. I've heard more offensive things.
I still think your theory that Paul Di'Anno should have joined that band is correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
Swapped.
That was.
Samson could have gone somewhere, dude.
Yeah. We did. That episode was so long ago. I didn't remember that conversation until you just said it.
Many moons. You guys talk about a lot of records.
Do, yeah.
Well, Sean was telling us, like, I'll post clips, and he's like, I don't even remember saying that.
I do that sometimes. Like, with how big of a gap it is between the episode dropping and us recording it, sometimes I'll be like, oh, yeah, I said that, didn't I?
Since I usually listen to it like 3 or 4 times, because I listen to it once to edit it, and then once to make sure it sounds okay, and then once in my car, usually. But
Yeah. We have to do my part for one of our downloads.
I like when you send me clips because then I can prove to my girlfriend that we're actually doing something over here, not just getting high and goofing off.
Yeah.
We're getting high and goofing off on mic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're recording it. Obviously, babe, it's important.
Yeah.
That's what I said during one of our blurbs. Is it's funny that, like, if you invited somebody over, hey, let's just listen to an album together. Like, their significant others are more likely to be like, why? Why are you doing that? But if they're like, I'm going to be on a podcast, it seems more likely to be like, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, she's still like, oh, why?
Yeah, my wife too.
Podcasts are embarrassing, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean's wife's OnlyFans is on sale, by the way.
Yeah. Get subscribe now, and she does a blowjob with one of those mannequins that you ride. It's
a good thing
that you're
she'll never
supposed to
listen to
ride.
these.
So then, like, but it chips her tooth. It's great.
Oh, hell yeah. Patreon exclusive.
No, OnlyFans exclusive.
What will she say if she ever does actually listen to one of these episodes? And it's like that moment.
She'd be like, "You motherfucker." She was trying to say I don't shock her anymore, and I'm like, yeah, right. Because I know there's many times where I say stuff off the wall, and she's like, oh my god.
That just means you need to try harder.
I don't really have to try very hard.
No.
She just acts like I don't shock her anymore. She's like, oh, I'm numb to it, and I'm like, no, you're not.
You can stay there. You just have to let me back into my seat. Right, we rolling?
We are rolling.
Right, that was side one of Spirit Phone by Lemon Demon. The tracks were Lifetime Achievement Award, Touchtone Telephone, Cabinet Man, and No Eyed Girl. Fellas, what did you think?
It's good. Actually, I was very impressed. This band put a lot of work into this. You can tell it was a labor of love. There was many layers. Many thought was put into the different elements. The discordant elements were just geniusly put together, I think, to make it just feel like what he was going for, which was a horror album.
Yeah.
Or horror themed.
Well, so far, this album, and I assume it'll continue. I see no reason why it wouldn't, but this album has a wide variety of sounds. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things for my ADHD brain to latch onto, so that's really nice.
Yeah, it's great for re-listens because you can focus on different parts on subsequent listens.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on, which I really like, and something that I've employed in my own album is something that he did on this is on each of these songs there's like a lot of background synths that just don't take away from the main parts, but it's there for like ear candy.
Yeah, it's almost like he layered in enough backing tracks, like finding the perfect amount. It's like, okay, if I do one more, it's going to sound cluttered and overproduced.
Yeah.
And so it's like he got to that point and then took out the one that made it that point. So it was everything stuffed to the gills, but to the point where it still sounds good. Like if he added any more, it would be too much. But he gets it right up to that line, which I think is really cool and interesting. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of care to get to that point.
Well, and being able to mix that many instruments together and still be able to pick them out, I think is very impressive. So it's I was thoroughly impressed, not only with the variety of sounds, but with the songwriting. I was also impressed with how often it changed, but how much sense it made.
Yeah, like it's like with how many like little tempo and key changes throughout the whole thing, he's able to keep each song feeling part of a thematic whole. Then you move to the next one, and then there's the little instrumental interstitials between each song that makes the transition seem smooth, but definitely you're in a new song when it's over.
Yeah.
Very prog.
Oh, very prog, but with a like new wave energy.
Yeah, it's proggy, but it sounds like new wave or 80s pop, or there were times where I was even kind of reminded of like the music you'd hear in anime or J-pop and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, busy.
yeah.
Very
But at the
busy.
same time, it also reminded me of like that band that every metalhead seems to hate, Ghost.
Yeah.
Which I like Ghost. I think they're really good. The entire time I was listening to this, I was thinking Adam would probably really like this.
Yeah, Adam would have been a good guest for this one too. Maybe we'll make sure he needs to hear it at some point. But yeah, track by track, strong opener with Lifetime Achievement Award. I like kind of like the slow like noise storm build into like a little synth instrumental into just like a very then like high energy song once it's done building up.
Yeah, you mentioned it reminded you of like Devo or Mark Mothersbaugh.
Yeah. And his vocal delivery was like Mark Mothersbaugh meets Glenn Danzig. Like he doesn't do as much of like the kind of like soaring gothic vocals in the other songs as he does in this one. But yeah.
I also, when I was typing into my notes app, I put Devo-ish and it auto-corrected to Devilish.
This one's both.
Yeah. But yeah, as I mentioned, for each song, a variety of different synths, multiple like parts of the songs, or multiple times the song abruptly changed but made sense, and I really like the thick bass line on it.
Yeah, it was very cool. You know, like I think it might have been like a bass guitar layered with a synth bass, but it was like very prominent like 80s new wave style bass tone that sounded really, really meaty, really good.
It's also interesting to hear this 80s style with modern production.
Yeah, like this album came out in 2016. I did double check the date, so yeah. But yeah, just like being this 80s style, but with being able to do it on a modern computer rather than on rather than an ancient Tandy. Yeah, hooked up to a reel-to-reel machine.
Although I can picture him doing that.
Oh yeah.
As I listen to this.
Yeah,
Some mad scientist.
Yeah. What did you think of this particular song, Dan?
I was immediately intrigued by the discordant elements and the layering of the synths. It felt very much like an 80s throwback, which as a child of the 80s, I definitely appreciate. The term I came up with was ominous cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of like the
It's like you could just picture watching a horror movie from the 80s, a low budget horror movie from the 80s with that soundtrack.
yeah, did a lot of like the detuned synths.
Yeah.
Like for some of like the lead lines.
I also said Prague meets the Cars.
Yeah. And then, next up we have Touch Tone Telephone. You know, if the first one reminded me of Devo meets Glenn Danzig, this one reminded me a lot, like, the most of just one band out of any of them, and that band is They Might Be Giants.
Yes. For sure.
With the vocal harmonies and and the strings, but still, kind of like that poppy, bouncy feel to it.
Yeah, the first thing I wrote was bouncy. I don't know, it kind of reminded me of something you'd hear like in an anime when they're doing something like homey, I guess, or like something like adventurous in town or something like that.
Come, we will have tea.
And again, a big variety of synths on this one.
Yeah. Very high energy chorus. I think that like the chorus stands out even more on this one than it did on the previous one.
I was struck by the beginning. It was I wouldn't be surprised if he was heavily influenced by Baroque music in the beginning. It sounded very Bach-ish.
With the strings.
Yeah.
The choppy kind of strings. Da 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 da. Yeah.
Just the rhythm and the flow of that. They call it the Baroque engine, that because Baroque songs were always like do 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 do. They just kept going and going and going, and that's what it felt like at first.
And I liked how delightfully paranoid the lyrics were. I know you probably didn't catch a lot of them on the first listen, but just a lot of.
I heard Leonard Nimoy. I heard Unified Theory a couple times,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing he's probably into physics as well.
Yeah, this is about a guy who just like a paranoid guy who's trying to gaslight someone into believing into thinking that they always believed him. Basically, it's a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. and then like that whole like really unhinged rant at the end, the disbelieving that's the real crime, like during a slow build up was good. Any more thoughts on this one or Cabinet Man?
Cabinet Man, I thought it sounded like 80s pop, but the instrument choice reminded me more of something more modern, maybe like J or K-pop or something like that.
Yeah, this is my favorite vocal performance on the album. I think I like the little cracks and warbles he did throughout it. This is a song about a video arcade cabinet that's possessed by a demon and is occasionally like eating a maintenance man or driving a child insane before some vandals finally come in and smash it just for shits and giggles, not realizing what they're destroying.
Inadvertently saving the world.
Inadvertently saving the world, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Now that is some imagination. Holy shit.
Yeah, it tells a really specific story, which I love.
Well, that has nothing to do with turning Japanese. It's just what I thought it sounded like the most.
Yeah, I think a lot of like the synths on it sounded a lot like like the kind of like 80s MIDI sounds that they had on video game arcades.
For sure.
I did like the very like kind of heavily white noise filtered like snare drum hits throughout it. That sounded really cool.
Yeah, the production on it I thought was very interesting, and you chose a lot of non-conventional sounds, I thought, and it kept everything really fresh, I think.
Yeah.
Faux shizzle.
And next we have No Eyed Girl, which is like a slower, sadder sounding love song.
She's man, no-eyed girl.
Yeah. I liked slowing it down a little bit after like 3 very like bouncy high energy songs. I think it needed the change of pace here.
Yeah, there's a touch of smoothness there.
Yeah. Like musically it reminded me a little bit of like Peter Gabriel or Kate Bush, like that particular era when they were getting really into like the Fairlight synthesizer and using it to create like these huge sonic layers.
I noticed it was like a piano-driven ballad, but it had this like really like weird characteristic to it that made it very interesting to me.
Yeah, and despite it being about falling in love with like a underground eldritch horror mole person that's going to destroy civilization, there were some like relatable moments, like I could tell you how I feel, but your language isn't real. There's like some human yearning behind that, even though it's a bit of a joke because it's falling in love with a monster that's going to come and destroy civilization. And also like knowing that she's going to destroy her and her people are going to destroy civilization, ending the song with a little bit of like a synth breakdown and then chanting "and I'd do it all again." It's so good. It's very good.
Perhaps touching on themes of schizophrenia as well.
Yeah, I think this whole album touches on schizophrenia quite a bit. It's a lot of paranoia, but yeah. I guess you can't do an album that's largely songs about like monsters, aliens, and cryptids without getting into paranoia.
It's true, very much so.
Yeah, that was the first side. I think my favorite track on the first side is probably the second one. I like Touchtone Telephone quite a bit.
Yeah, that was sketchy. I was reminded of Neon Indian, just in the way that this guy seems to approach music, except Neon Indian's production is much more lo-fi. This guy was really like, I could just see him in his basement just like pouring over these songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
I think it took him a long time to like write and record
no
these.
doubt.
Oh, it had to have taken forever. Yeah,
No doubt.
With how much was going on. I'm just picturing the guy like sitting there like tweaking things and being like, nope, that's not the way I want it. All right.
And like the CD version of the bonus discs has a couple of tracks that have demo versions which are much more stripped down, which is interesting to hear. They're interesting experiments. I like what ended up on the album more.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite song on this side because they all kind of flowed into each other, and they all had a different vibe. I'm not sure if I could just pick one.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming up on the next side I think is my favorite side of the whole thing. We have When He Died, Sweet Bod, Eighth Wonder, Ancient Aliens, and Soft Fuzzy Man.
Ancient Aliens, nice.
When He Died, huh?
On a dark and stormy night. But yeah, I'm gonna flip it good, and we'll get started.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this episode of Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. Happy 1 year anniversary, Dave.
Happy 1 year anniversary, Steve.
Completely unrelated, I have released an EP on May Day, and you are on it a lot of times.
I am. I'm on more songs than I am not, I think.
Yeah, the only ones you aren't on are my completely solo songs that are going to be on the album. But you are on a very important song on it called Solidarity Forever. David, tell us your feelings about the song Solidarity Forever.
It is an important song that I love and know very well. I have listened to many different versions of it. An amazing song, and it has an important message today that the boss needs us so much more than we need the boss. And our only way to stand up to the boss is to band together and fight.
Thanks. Stay tuned to the end of the podcast. You can check out the first 2 songs from my new EP, which you can check out on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube, and all major streaming platforms.
An EP stands for eel penis.
Tyranny of the Clock by Killrock. Now available on my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com.
And we are back from side 3. Before we move on to the next record, I'm going to have you look at the art on the LP itself. It's like a phone receiver with ghosts.
Now that white isn't
Ghostly
something that's
shit.
just going to wipe off like Sean's REM record.
No, it is not dust that we think looks like cum.
Which we forgot to mention in that episode. That
It's funnier that we didn't mention it in the episode, though.
well, now you all know that the record.
Automatic for the cokehead.
Yes. But yeah, and then it's like a phone dial is in the middle where it's listing
This would be, I assume, TV static.
Yep. But yeah, that was...
Pretty swifty.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was side 3. What'd you guys think of it as a whole?
I liked it as much as the first side. I don't really have many differing notes as far as each song compared to side 1, because they all gave out a similar yet different vibe. I think they all flowed really well together. I think that the songs were, especially 2 of them, were more 80s than the 80s ever produced.
Yeah, this was. I think this is my favorite side as a whole on the entire record. I think my favorite song on it is Ancient Aliens, which we'll get into that when we go song by song.
I suspect that'll be my favorite overall as well.
Yeah, but I think I feel like this was the strongest chunk of songs on the record, and I really liked how much momentum it picked up and how it kind of played around with the general genre a bit more. Dan, your thoughts?
I agree. No, sorry.
I concur.
We brought you over here for a reason, Dan. Come on. I'm actually pretty astounded by the detail and the layering that he's put into this. I just can't get over it. To the point where sometimes thinking about how much work someone has put into a creative effort almost gives me anxiety, because I'm like, how did they come up with all that? How did they arrange it? How much time did they spend? Where is their brain?
This man has a family. But I don't think he has a normal job. I think he's been able to make enough out of all the different projects he's worked on. But yeah.
But this is, as I said, this just feels like a labor of love.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time crafting these songs, which I think really shows. Track by track, though, when he died was a great side opener. It's funny because I'm used to listening to the CD version. Well, the CD version off my MP3 player, so I'm used to it going straight from No Eyed Girl to When He Died. So it was kind of interesting to hear it as an opener rather than as something that transitioned in. And I thought that made some things stand out more. I really liked the creepy lyrics about they found a bunch of scorpions inside his lungs, and I liked the little creepy toy piano that was going in between the verses, and the the laughing record that sounded like it was melting and falling apart.
There were numerous moments where either the instrument choice or the way he was playing reminded me a demented child's playroom or some shit.
Yeah, and then like it was either a baritone guitar or a bass guitar that wasn't sitting on the low end due to like the effects, but like that surf either baritone or bass guitar riff that was going near the end sounded really cool too.
Yeah.
I mentioned something about a painting that mentioned his day of death or time of death.
Yeah,
And I just thought, I don't know if this was what he was going for or not, but it kind of gave me this picture of Dorian Gray kind of vibe.
oh, definitely had that. Like he layered on a lot of creepy details from a lot of different sources, but I feel like that was a pretty big reference to Dorian Gray. Yeah.
Yeah, the lyrics were pretty genius, though. A lot of unique stuff going on. I could go back and read those and just be like, oh, okay, that's what he said there. All right.
Yeah.
That was cool. I don't think I could have come up with that in 1,000 years, but
Yeah.
my comment when the laughing came on was, okay, creepy laughing and detuned horror noises much?
Yeah. Yeah. And then next up we have Sweet Bod, which is the funky song. I'm going to tell you.
Perfect song title for that music.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what it's about. It's about a. It kind of is about necrophilia. It's about.
Hot.
Yeah. It's about like a. Like there's a snake oil cure, which is putting honey to ferment in a coffin with a mummified corpse, and then to take it out like years later and sell it.
So literally,
Yeah.
Sweet Bod.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it sexualizes that, which in a way that makes it really creepy too. If it wasn't creepy enough to begin with, I like this song. This is one of my favorites on the record. Not my overall favorite, but just one of my top ones. It's a lot of fun. I like the like kind of funky synth bass that reminds me of a Prince song on it.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I noted was I enjoyed the deep sub bass on it, but I also really liked the weird instrument choices and the way it was arranged. It kind of reminded me of like 16-bit video game music, like more Sega Genesis than Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I can see that. And then
I thought
go ahead.
the chorus was very catchy. I thought, I mean, I could see myself singing that.
Yeah.
I don't remember it now. Something about nothing sexual.
it isn't sexual. And I liked at the very end where it was, good God, I'm glad to see ya. Won't you be my panacea? Sweet Bod. Yeah, it was very good.
Fucking awesome. Had a very disco-ish bounce to it at times too, which I definitely appreciated.
Yeah, but I liked it too that it would sometimes make like the riff stutter a little bit too on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
And then next up we have Eighth Wonder, The Strings Are Back. But this one it's about a ghost that took the form of a mongoose within like the cryptid urban legend sphere named Jeff. And the lyrics from it are the reported actual words of Jeff. So
Wow.
there's that.
That's some obscurity. No wonder you like this album.
Yeah. I also like it that it's this ghost that takes the form of a mongoose named Jeff.
That's amazing. My name is Jeff.
Yeah, I liked bringing the strings back. I think I'm glad that like when he goes back to a particular tool, he waits a while before bringing it back.
Yeah.
Like we haven't heard the strings since the second track, so it was he gave it some room to breathe before going back to that. There's a little discordant guitar solo that was going over like a little bit of like the last chorus and last verse, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that doing this like on this album full of like creepy monster stuff, that this one felt like it was genuinely reaching out for a connection with someone.
Yeah, I like the 80s new wave sound, but with the really heavy sub bass. And the way that the outro faded into the next song, I thought was really nice. I like how I was visualizing it like fading away into dust, into space, basically.
Yeah.
Nice. I had a similar feeling.
Yeah.
My words were, dreamy outro felt like floating on TV static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny that after Eighth Wonder is the song Ancient Aliens, because I always think about how people try to attribute like ancient civilizations' accomplishments to like aliens, because they're like, there's no way they could have done this.
Yeah, Ancient Aliens was like, in terms of like the general move and oppressiveness of like the instrumentation and the vocal delivery, it was like one of the more straightforward horror songs on the record too. Really like brought out the terror of being abducted, like ripped from your bed and abducted by strange creatures.
Yeah, the organ and the high pitched synth synth on that one were well to my liking. I very much enjoyed this song.
I liked how after like the synth intro, it did like kind of the vocals and kind of like a very like lo-fi, like mournful, like almost like tape sound, and then breaking into the like I love the filter sweeps on the lead synth lines, like the whoosh.
Oh yeah.
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 I heard a little bit of Edgar Freuche inspired synthesizers in the very beginning, which I thought, well, of course he's probably influenced to some degree by Tangerine Dream.
Yeah, and then like just like the creepy detuned synths with the organ and the
and the sequencing.
Yeah, and the
Definitely non-traditional song structure.
Yeah.
There's some shifting time signatures in here. I really couldn't keep track, but just brilliant stuff.
yeah.
That's one thing that's been difficult for me this entire album, is to keep up with everything that's going on, to keep notes on, because by the time I have a thought on something, it moves on to something else, and then
It's extremely
rewards-
busy. It reminds me of my daughter.
It rewards re-listens.
Yeah.
But I liked the desperation to like the chorus, the no stars.
On a side note, speaking of the actual Agent Alien show, that's a show that I really loved when I was a teenager, and that's something that I really, really wanted to be true. And then years later, I've seen multiple YouTubers debunk the entire idea of ancient aliens, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, the same thing happened to me with ghosts. Like, you hear about all this ghost stuff, like the supposed ghost in 3 Men and a Baby. That was debunked.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I wanted so bad for that to be real.
Yeah. And then closing out the side was Soft Fuzzy Man, which is about a man made of static, which is like all those lines, like an ambient man, a trick of the light.
yeah. That song is the one that I specifically said sounded more 80s than anything that came out of the actual 80s.
Yeah. I do like how much white noise was mixed into, like, layered onto the different synth parts and just like in the mix. It sounded like static. It sounded like it was like falling apart and breaking up, which was pretty cool.
Which is, fits the title. I had a poltergeist vibe kind of going on with the concept of Soft Fuzzy Man. Somebody just sitting in the TV calling out to somebody.
They're here.
That's exactly what it
Yeah.
My notes just said that. Overall, I got a really, really strong Neon Indian vibe from this whole side, which
I'll have to check them
love.
out.
Oh, you got to check them out. This guy, it feels like they could be contemporary. They probably are contemporaries, honestly.
They probably could. Yeah.
Well, Dan, you're overdue for bringing your own record in, so you'll have
Yeah.
to.
We'll have you bring that in sometime.
Ooh,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more side, and then we'll do the bonus tracks as a bonus episode. But yeah, up next we have. It gets like after all like the monster encrypted stuff, it gets a little more personal for this one, where it has, as your father I expressly forbid it. I earn my life, Reaganomics, man-made object, and spiral of ants.
Nothing more horrifying than Reaganomics, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I thought you were about to say Spiral of Ants, and I was like,
Reaganomics is probably my second favorite song on the whole album. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Will.
I'm Richard Nixon.
Yeah, I see the good groove and just replaying this. So I'd be doing this forever if I didn't stop it.
Goody.
That is a true Lucid Fugue ending right there.
Dave, you've been replaced by Flexo. Flexo, what did you think of this album?
Wow.
Well, it must have.
I think there are parts of it that genuinely disturbed him from the way he was looking.
Well, he's cleaning himself, so it must have made him feel dirty. Well, consider me a fan.
The only regret I have is I had bonitis.
And we are back from side C of Spirit Phone. Or side 3. Yeah, what did you guys think of the last official side of the record?
I think that was probably, for me, the strongest side. It had the most upbeat song and my favorite song. and it had a really strong closer, and I think Reaganomics and Mad Made Object were both really interesting songs.
It felt like it had the most thematic unity out of the whole thing by drifting away from like all of the aliens and monsters and cryptid stuff.
Well, you got a really scary overbearing father, and then what's scarier than Reaganomics? I mean,
Yeah, I felt like too, like it spent like 2/3 of the record going over, like all this kind of like horror and monster stuff, and then like closing out like the last third of it was okay. So why does it matter? Here's this scary, oppressive society that we're trying to escape from that is scarier than any of the things we come up with.
Right. It's that whole Scooby-Doo thing, that thing you see on Facebook. Scooby-Doo taught me when I was a kid that the real monsters were men.
Yeah,
Regular people all along.
yeah.
Usually men. I don't know if there was any women. No, there was one time there was a woman villain.
I'm sure there
Most of
was.
them were men.
At some point they had to not do Old Man Jenkins.
sometimes I watch these compilations of like people like in the forest like being fucked with by other people, and like half the time the comments are like when you're in the forest, the scariest thing isn't animals, it's other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I also felt like the order in which the tracks were presented kind of told a story. So it's probably good to just dive right in so that I can explain why I think they're in this order and what story they tell.
Yeah, I think I noticed something similar.
So like starting off this side is "As Your Father I Expressly Forbid It," which to me was one of the funniest songs on the album. Maybe Sweet Bod was funnier depending on what mood I'm in, but this one had like a lot of jokes, like the father getting mad because he thought his son stole his Rogaine. It doesn't say Rogaine for copyright reasons, but it's hair loss medicine.
This reminded me of something that you would write.
Like it's just kind of like a tyrannical suburban father expressing control over a son he doesn't understand, which I think like there's a lot of like our specific generation that is written into this. It was, like it was I don't know how much this resembles his actual childhood, but it was, kind of like the suburban dad not understanding the son who's big into like electronic music and the internet.
Yeah.
And calling whatever handheld console he had a Game Boy, because that's what parents did in that generation. Everything was Nintendo.
It's a Twitch, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really loved the energy on that one. I loved the energy. I loved the instrument choice. I thought the title matched the song really well, and it also reminded me of 16-bit music again. And yeah, the subject matter I thought was pretty funny.
A lot of the synth sounded like 16-bit music, but like the drums and the bass guitar and the guitar, it all sounded like it was like played on a live band in the same room, probably the most out of any song on the record.
Yeah. Which would probably explain like this one had distinctly different energy than any other song on the album, I feel like.
Yeah.
And maybe that was why.
But as the one father in the room, Dan, what did you think?
It hit close to home. Because of my own father, but also because of some of the things that I'm trying to watch out for in my own parenting, which can sometimes be controlling and oppressive and overbearing. And I'm trying to be aware of that, break the cycle, so to speak. Not that my father was really egregiously terrible, but there was definitely some moments when it felt like that,
And when you're an adult, you really realize the mistakes your parents made, even if they were well-intentioned.
Oh, yeah. I mean, It almost makes me cry to think of how deeply my dad was into this and how he never got the chance to really go back and revisit that and rethink about it and go, man, I really could have been easier on you kids when you were kids. I really could have just let you be kids more instead of trying to be, you got to do everything perfectly. And he never got a chance to do that. And so I just feel like I owe it to him to, not even let it get that far with my daughter. So this was really, as you can hear, it's quite personal to me.
Yeah.
And that instrumental breakdown actually sounded like an argument between the father and son. That felt like what he was trying to portray.
Yeah, it definitely did. And then
almost like in a passive-aggressive way, though.
Yeah, and then to transition it into "I Earn My Life," where it had I Earned My Life following it kind of felt like it was the main character aging into his dad and making the same mistakes. Which,
I thought it following that song was an intentional choice and a very good choice.
Yeah.
And I felt like some parts of I Earned My Life were like references to like some kind of more quote-unquote dad rock stuff. Like the guitar leading into it reminded me of like the kind of thing you'd hear on like a Tom Petty song. And then there was that little like break that was between verses a few times where it was like a certain synth sound with flute that reminded me a lot of like Paul Simon's Graceland, and bringing in the horns at the end really emphasized that too. And so like I Earned My Life was like a really good follow-up to that too. And
Yeah. What was with the hair? 2 songs in a row he references losing his hair, so that would go in with the theme of thinking he was becoming his father.
yeah, I think that's was what it was about. I think it's about, you know, like getting older and as you're approaching middle age and seeing your hairline change. I think it's about that.
Oh, look at you two older than me guys that still have hair.
Yeah.
Hey, it's starting to recede, man. It's going.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, I Earned My Life is a really like solid song. And just like putting it in between those 2 songs, I feel like really reinforces why I feel like this side has a lot of thematic unity.
Yeah.
Anyone have any more songs about I Earned My Life before I talk about the next song to really drive my point home?
Yeah, real quick, there was a mention of him standing on a chair, and I got a vibe of like he was going to be committing suicide. So is there?
Yeah, that could be about that. It could be about someone who, when he loses control of his life, he commits suicide, and and then like his life seemed pretty useless. You know, like utilities and mortgage are all that will survive.
That's very, very sad.
I think there's also another way you can read standing on a chair. It's like I'm standing tall above you, but it's artificial. I need an aid to do that. It could be both.
That feels a little the less heavy-handed option. I think I'll go with that.
Yeah. And then finally into that, Steve, was this your favorite song on the record? Reaganomics?
no, mine was As Your Father, I Expressly Forbid It, but Reaganomics I think was my 3rd favorite.
Nice. Yeah. I liked the first thing I ever noticed the first time I heard this song was that sample of Reagan at the beginning. Government, like the actual quote is government is not the solution to the problem. But then it like loops it and says government is the solution to the problem. And so it's like, I think that's a very strong political statement right there. It's like deregulation is still the government. It's still the state keeping you down. I thought that was really good. And state violence is needed to enforce the mechanisms of capitalism. Like if it was all just free agents acting independently, they wouldn't bring in the police to break strikes.
Fuck Ronald Reagan and everything that he started, because like I think we're still cursed by that, because essentially I think the Democrats just took Reaganomics and continued it, and the Republicans are, I think, finally trying to move past it into their own horrible Trumpy thing.
Which is just straight up fascism. But and then you remember the fake State of the Union thing that happened recently, where the Democratic response to it was to bring out Alyssa Slotkin, who used to be in the CIA, to talk about how much safer Ronald Reagan made her feel as a little girl. It's like that fucking sucked. Anyway, but
what the hell?
Wow. One thing I liked about the very end of the song too is I liked how it ended, that if you just hold my hand, if you just close your eyes, if you get in my car, I'll take you for a ride. Like, to think that trickle-down economics works requires just like blind faith, because all evidence has said the contrary.
Yeah, definitely that kind of feel to it. Just listen to what I have to say. Just do what I have to say. It'll be okay.
You know, I hear that Ronald Reagan quote about the government being the problem thing, and it's like, you know, plenty of other countries have figured out how to effectively use their government to, take care of their citizens. It's not really that hard.
I also like it that it compares Reaganomics to something with the destructive force of an atomic bomb.
Reaganomics.
Yeah, great song. Love it. If I had to cover any song from this album, it would be that one, even though I've said other songs are my favorite. This is... And, making it, the most Devo-sounding one is definitely, drawing on that 80s thing, because, Devo was... Despite, their kind of polished sound, they were part of, that whole angry punk rock anti-Reagan sentiment.
my notes for this one was sufficiently 80s sounding for this song title.
Sufficiently. He said.
And I think leading it into Man-Made Object was amazing because, like, you're going from like Reaganomics to a song about obsessive monomania and like the hubris of trying to build something that leads to your downfall, which was amazing. Like very Howard Hughes, very Tower of Babel.
Very Elon Musk right now.
Yeah, very Elon Musk. I liked doing musically. One thing I really liked about it is I liked how it was doing like a little synth loop, and then there's just kind of like a lead bass synth, like playing like the melody over it, and then another synth came in and was kind of doing a counter melody, and then another synth came in and kind of harmonized. Yeah, it was like a very well constructed song too, and like building a giant tower, it was layering stuff on top. Like a lot of this album is layering stuff as it keeps going, but this one, like thematically, I felt like really fit it.
Yeah, the intro was really strong on it, and like you said, I really liked the instrument choice on it. I like the arpeggiated bass and the synth that reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then the synth waves I think sounded really cool on this one.
Yeah. Any more thoughts about any of these songs we've already talked about, Dan? We are kind of, in my effort to try to show how they're unified, we are kind of going through them quickly.
Yeah, Man-Made Object. It definitely has synthwave vibe, which I love synthwave, but this took it to a little bit farther, because a lot of synthwave is very nostalgic but also very simple. It's designed to kind of evoke that feel of the 80s, and he takes the synthwave here and he's like, what if synthwave actually had something to say?
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that. It's not as listenable as synthwave is, because the chord structure is very much all over the place.
It's a lot more confrontational than a lot of synthwave, both in the lyrics and in like the way the song's put together.
Yes, it is. Confrontational is a good way to put it. It's not really the most listenable music if you're sitting down and wanting to just chill out. But it's not designed to be that way, you know. It has something to say. It has something to say in a very specific, layered way. And I, for one, appreciate the hell out of what he's trying to do here and what he mostly accomplishes. You said Howard Jones or Howard Hughes, and at first I thought you were saying Howard Jones. And I was like, no, it's Howard Jones meets Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
The rhythmic structure of this one was very catchy, and then those dub vocals at the end, the kind of auto-tune, whatever it was.
Yeah. Vocoder, I think, yeah.
A nice touch.
Yeah. And then I think leading, like that song about building something and like the delusional hubris of it into Spiral of Ants, which is about how ants like will spiral around like and to their death indefinitely if the queen dies while giving off a specific pheromone. And so it's basically following a leader and their hubris to your own like death and destruction.
I think moments on this song reminded me of 9 Inch Nails, and like the title and the concept seem very 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also think this is also why I don't mind running out of time at this point, because this is the definitive closer to this album. The other, like the last side are like great bonus tracks, but
Yeah, it was a
they don't really build the mood anymore. This is like the definitive ending statement, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a really good choice for an album closer.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned 9 Inch Nails, because the one, Sweet Bod, had a feel for it that reminded me of the 9 Inch Nails song. There is no you, there is only me.
Yeah, I think I caught up on that too.
So this, interesting, yeah.
And I liked like opening it with like a big blast of like synth and tape noise.
Oh yeah, it had a really strong opening.
The
really
echo
liked it.
arpeggiation at the beginning was very nice and pleasant for me. That spoke to me.
And I also like that, like, in the first verse, he was like, okay, we're already going to make it sound like it's falling apart and melting with, like, all the, like, tape effects and all that.
Yeah.
Which really stand out on vinyl. Like, that was one of the things I noticed listening to it on vinyl versus listening to it on an MP3 player ripped from a CD in my car, is just, like, all the little subtle pieces in the mix that just stand out so much more for it.
For sure.
And I also liked the way it ended a lot, which is something you can only do on vinyl and isn't on the CD at all. So it was a bit of a surprise for me. It fades out into like a little bit of white noise, and then the laughing record from when he died just it hits a notch as it spins, and so it just keeps playing it infinitely until you stop the record.
Which the audience will hear us before we get to this part. So. because I started recording before you took the needle off of it.
Nice.
Perfect.
I think we should probably close the episode with that loop.
Yeah, that was a true Lucid Fugue ending, which is the project that we all have.
Yeah, I can see why you brought the Lucid Fugue gang in for this one.
I specifically wanted Dan to hear this. Yeah.
I like this a lot. They're really, really, really catchy.
Yeah, it is an amazing record, and I hope he makes another one. It did come out 9 years ago now, but yeah.
Well, you never know. I saw some legacy band, I forget which one it was, but it was some death metal band are releasing an album after 32 years, so you never know.
Yeah, and he's done more stuff since then, but it's been more like the remixes and stuff like that that he's done, like the...
Yeah.
But yeah, Spiral of Ants, I thought was it had a really strong opening, was a great closer. Like the proper meat of the song had a great syncopated sound, and there was like a arpeggiated break where it calmed down for a second that I really liked. I thought that was cool.
And I thought his vocals were appropriately sad for a song about everyone dying.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they had the ascending vocal line near the end with the harmonization and the layering, and I was like, okay. It felt like at that point, I think I said this in my notes earlier, that for Reaganomics, it felt like his command of his songwriting and the structure are on full display in that song and in this final song as well. Just, it felt very confident, like, all right, I know what the hell I'm doing now.
And I do feel like the very first song of the very first side, Lifetime Achievement Award, kind of foreshadowed this side, and that it was about death and how we can't escape it.
Yeah.
And about how any attempts to like cheat it are going to backfire. And so I thought I liked it. I liked that it kind of moved away from some of that stuff, not entirely, before coming back and like doing a whole side that basically is like, okay, why do these monsters and creatures and this hopelessness matter? Because it's less hopeless than what we actually have to deal with.
Death is merely one stepping stone in the path of life. And since today's my birthday, I'm 1 year closer to it.
Yay! As another nerdy band would say, you're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older. And now you're even older.
Happy birthday, Steve.
And now you're even older.
To tie it all together, Edgar Froese from Tangerine Dream, the founder of that band, once said that death is only a change of cosmic address.
Yeah, we will do the last side as an EP episode between seasons, I think. Maybe it'll be our first EP episode with a guest, and we'll bring Dan back. We'll see if we can swing that scheduling-wise.
Yeah.
You like me. You really like me.
We do. We've invited you back a lot.
Now, you can catch all three of us together in one project at Lucid Fugue. You can check that out on my website, killrockmusic.com. Besides making a couple releases with us, Dan, you have made quite a few albums on your own, much like this guy, and you're recently celebrating the 15th anniversary of one of your releases. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my very first release, Legend of the Shadow Touched, which came out in 2010. So I released the 15th anniversary edition of that album this year. I also released another album in the fall, I believe it was, that was a lot of electronic, high-energy, beat-infused, techno-inspired songs. And I think that would probably be something that anyone listening to this one and appreciating this music would probably more align themselves with. So
I agree. Anybody
check
that
that
likes
out.
this album, I think, would love what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a very similar vein, maybe not the same vibe, but it's one guy in his basement putting all of this craziness together. So
Yeah.
For sure.
it's really funny when you played the house show where the members of Megaton met and essentially set us off on this timeline. Rob is the glue
Kelvin
between
timeline.
all of us.
Yeah.
I remember we were watching you, and I remember everybody was just kind of enthralled because I don't think anybody was expecting like new age flute music to open up the show, because like right after you was like a metalcore band,
Right.
and then of course Megaton, which was like punky sludge metal at that time. And what I thought was really funny is our drummer at the time, Dave, not this Dave, a different Dave.
We should bring that Dave onto the podcast if you're still in touch with him.
I don't know if I could even get a hold of him these days.
Yeah.
But I remember he was super high, and he walked in, watched you for like 5 seconds, and went, "I can't handle this," and went back outside because I don't think he was expecting it.
I think Dave is the only guy who I heard call you Wrench after the first year of Megaton.
Yeah, that was a nickname I came up for myself that I hated like a week after I did it.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
always
Dave and
loved
Rob
that
kept
nickname,
doing
man.
it.
I miss that nickname.
I don't.
Maybe I'll introduce you as Wrench on stage sometime. And on the drums, Wrench.
Not the names that we don't use, but that we credit ourselves.
Yeah.
See, there's a tool that you use for chainsaws called a scrench. It's a combination of screwdriver and wrench. So maybe we just call you Strench.
Yes.
Steve and Wrench.
Oh my lord.
Let's not say we did.
Yeah. All right, and so this was Spirit Phone by Lemon Demon. If you have not heard it already, I definitely suggest you listen to it. It is an amazing album. I think it's an immaculate album. There's no song I would cut. Like, there's even some bonus tracks that I like that I would not include on this album because it would mess with the flow. So we'll talk about the bonus tracks when we record that episode.
Yeah, this is
But,
perfect
yeah.
for your next Halloween rave.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
It's definitely something dancey but weird.
Yes.
So if you're looking for something dancey and weird, you found it.
Although there's a
You'll get
few
it.
songs that aren't very dancey because of the weird time signature stuff. So you might have to curate a little bit. But yeah, those songs are still good. They're just harder to dance to.
Unless you have 3 legs.
Yes. Or you're just ready to change time signatures because you're listening close enough to the song. But yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
This was side 1, side B, and this was Spirit Phone by Lemon Demon. Catch you on the flip side.
Peace.
That was my original song, Who Killed Saint Monday, available on my new EP, Tyranny of the Clock, by Kill Rock. Next up is an old Union anthem called Solidarity Forever, originally by Ralph Chaplin and popularized by Pete Seeger. Check out the whole thing on my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com.
Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve is a Floof Goof Studios production. You can find us on Instagram at KillRockMusicSWS and Dave_Diction. You can find us on Bluesky at KillRock Music and Beastmaster General. Check out our musical projects, The Alliterates and Lucid Fugue, on all major streaming platforms, and links to each at my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. This also includes my past projects, Megaton and Valley of Shadows, and my current solo project, Kill Rock. You can also find Dave's past project, Gong Farmer, at GONGFERMOUR.bandcamp.com. Thanks.
Everyone we worked with is dead.
Really ripped.
Yeah.
I need to change my pants.
Check. Leonard Bernstein. I hate it so much I skipped the whole Destroyer.
Allow me to play you out.
Dirty Dave just pooped his pants.
Yes, indeed.
Perfect hooker murdering song.
Kick out the jam, motherfucker! Are you ready?
Oh, Steve's got some cheese.
Get my podcast voice ready to go.
Chow Wobble. What a name.
I'm Ivan Moody, and I'm having a psychotic break. Testicules.
you.